At least 10 people have been killed on Wednesday in Goma, eastern DR Congo, after soldiers attempted to stop a religious group's planned anti-UN protest. Boleka Merigani, a member of that group that organized the march, has said that Congolese soldiers killed 6 people at a radio station and a place of worship. Hospital officials also say they had admitted to 33 wounded persons, 3 of whom died of their injuries. And witnesses, as well as the mayor of Goma, say members of the religious group, also lynched a policeman in the violence. The UN peacekeeping force in the Democratic Republic of Congo, known as MONUSCO, is one of the largest in the world and costliest, with an annual budget of around $1 billion. It has been present in the country since 1999. Well, joining us to discuss this development is an analyst with the Center for Research on the Congo-Kinshasa, Kambale Musavuli. Thank you very much for your time, Kambale.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we just heard from that report, at least 10 killed on Wednesday in Goma in eastern DRC after soldiers attempted to stop a planned anti-UN protest. What are the authorities doing right now about this situation?
First, it's quite sad that when Congolese are expressing themselves democratically in the streets about the discontent, we often find out that people are killed, either shot or brutalized by the security forces. That should not take place anywhere around the world. The authorities are using the same narrative that they have given before, whereby they said there were protesters who were at the line for their actions and so on. But why were people protesting? The people in Goma were protesting for the departure of the UN forces under the umbrella of MONUSCO. That's the largest contingent of UN soldiers anywhere around the world, with over $1 billion budget. Why are they asking them to leave, right? They're asking them to leave because since 1999, the UN forces came with a mandate to bring about peace and stability. They call them US peacekeepers. Since 1999 to present, there is no peace in Congo. I think after 2 decades of conflict, of wars, where it's been clearly documented why we have a conflict in the Congo, the influence or the engagement of Congolese neighbors running in Uganda in the conflict without any sanctions or any accountability, the Congolese are tired of seeing a standby force in DRC not bringing about peace or holding the perpetrator of violence accountable. And this is not the first time this has taken place in Congo. There have been multiple protests where the Congolese people are clearly saying it's time for MONUSCO to leave since they have not been able to achieve the mandate they have been given of bringing about peace and stability to the DRC.
Well, the instability in DRC has been on for too long, some would say. But the protesters are demanding the withdrawal of the UN forces, like you just said, for failing to rein in rebel groups in the east who have masterminded legal or lethal attacks on civilians. We just heard in that report that the protesters lynched at least 1 policeman. In your opinion, are the citizens right to take this approach?
I mean, it's not just a question of if the citizens are right? The UN forces have a mandate to bring about peace and stability. With or without them, people are being killed. So we have to think differently about how to bring about peace in the Congo. Why isn't there peace in the Congo? We are clear there is no peace in the Congo because we're not going to the heart of the matter. We know the perpetrator of violence. They're not being held accountable. The perpetrator of violence and those who support these proxy rebel militias in DRC are not in the Congo. Until there are strong sanctions against Rwanda and Uganda, we continue to have instability in DRC. The other way to think about it is when we look at what is happening in West Africa, in the Sahel, when we look at Mali. Why is Mali asking France to leave? Why is Mali asking the UN mission to leave Mali? Because they came to the same realization that we have come to in DRC. They have looked at the situation in Mali. They know they have insurgents. They see military forces, foreign military forces in the country, and yet there is instability. So they are saying it's the responsibility of the state and the people of Mali to take control of the country and bring about peace and stability. That's the situation. Do you know what $1.2 billion will do in the DRC if the Congolese were left to bring an end to the conflict? That's the sentiment of the people. They are tired of seeing their loved one being killed every single day. They are tired of seeing minerals being exploited illegally. They want an end, and they know that after 2 decades, if the UN forces are not able to bring peace and stability in the Congo, they should not have another day, another month, another year in the DRC.
Interesting. These anti-UN protests have been on since the 25th of July, at least in the eastern part of the DRC. A total of 36 people, including 4 peacekeepers, so far dead, about 170 wounded as of Wednesday. This is August. We're heading to September. Do you see the United Nations bowing, to the pressure and leaving the troubled region anytime soon?
Unfortunately, the UN is not in the Congo without the approval of the Congolese government. The people of the Congo are asking for the United Nations forces to leave. The Congolese government has not made that formal request for the UN forces to leave. Until they make that request, the process of the removal of the UN forces will take place. Every year at the Security Council, there is a renewal of that mandate of the UN forces. And so far, there has not been a protest from the DRC government, more so rhetoric in the press that they are asking for the UN forces to leave. But on paper, they have not made a formal request of the UN forces to leave. I believe with the continuous pressure of the Congolese government, of the Congolese people, we will get there. But I'm looking at the situation with the UN forces from a continental perspective. The Congolese people being on the streets is similar to what is happening all across the African continent, where African people are putting pressure on the government for them to represent their will and their aspirations. The Congolese are asking the Congolese government to remove the UN forces. They should listen to the people of the Congo before the matter becomes much more complex, as we are seeing in Gabon, in Mali, Niger, and many other places across the African continent.
Interesting. Finally, Kambale, what do you suggest should be the reaction of international bodies, for instance, the African Union, to these developments?
It's been quite fascinating looking at regional bodies first, like SADC and the Eastern African Community, and as well as the African Union. They have been watching the death of over 6 million Congolese since 1996 without any strong actions. So before we even go to the UN forces, which is at the United Nations, Africans should look at the situation in the Congo and say, how can we contribute? The African Union have not been helpful. They have not been helpful for the same reasons I said for the United Nations. In the Congo, we've had over 6 million people dead in the conflict. Why have they died? Congo is a land of many mineral resources. Some of the resources such as cobalt, that's used in an electric vehicle, coltan in your cell phone. These resources have been at the center of the conflict. Congo's neighbors, specifically Rwanda and Uganda, have invaded the Congo twice in 96 and 98 and have continued to support proxy rebel militias. But when you go to the African Union and you present the facts, not just from Congolese organizations who have documented the conflict, but even from the UN group of experts themselves, documenting how Rwandan soldiers are arming, equipping, training, and supporting financially rebels in DRC, nothing happens, right? We see things such as Visit Rwanda campaign, which is a PR firm helping the Rwandan government, getting a visibility, a positive visibility of Rwanda, which is good, right? That we should have positive story around Africa. But it actually hides the horror that the nation that we are promoting is actually causing deaths of millions in the DRC.
All right.
So when we are not holding the perpetrators accountable, the conflict will continue. And the African Union has not been able to play that role to hold the perpetrator of violence accountable.
Wow, so many issues to still discuss, and we have to leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time, Kambale Musavuli, and for joining us on the program.
Thank you.